Good afternoon, we are now live.
Good afternoon, and maybe good morning for those who join us from non-European time zone. I'm Vincent Garnier, the Director General of the FTTH Council Europe. Welcome to this webinar titled Perform and Transform, Optimize Your Fiber Network with a Digital Twin. I can see that we still have quite a few people in the process of joining, so maybe I'll pause for 30 seconds before I officially start the session, just to give you a few extra seconds to our participant to join the call. So bear with me, maybe 20 seconds, and we will formally start in a very short moment. Thank you. So I think we can start, and once again, welcome on this webinar. This session is sponsored by Hexagon, on a member of the FTTH Council Europe. And if we move to the next slide, I just want to share with you a few words about our organization. We are a non-for-profit association with a mission to promote fiber network, full fiber network, as the most sustainable and future-proof technology for access network. We want all businesses and citizens in Europe to benefit from the quality and performance of fiber network. We regroup more than 150 members. Some of them are operators, investors. Others, like Hexagon, are supplier of solutions. And we have a variety of activity, including these webinar series, but not only that, we also communicate to policymakers. We develop market studies report and have our annual conference, the next one taking place in Madrid on 18th of April. This series of webinar is available via our website. You can find the replay on the website. And since you subscribe to and you accepted this invitation, you will be forwarded future invitation for our next webinar. Just a few practical points concerning this session. We are recording the session, and as like for any other session of the webinar series of the FTTH Council Europe, you can access the replay. The link will be sent to you after the event. We are not giving you the possibility to ask verbally any question, but please use the question box in the the box which is offered to you on the control panel. You can ask questions. I very much encourage you to pose this question. I will address them to our speaker at the end of the call. And even if we don't have the time to address this question, they will be forwarded to our speaker, and he will address them after the session. So with that, I would like to introduce you to the topic of today. It's clear that rolling out and operating FTTH network is complex and requires the management of an enormous amount of data about the infrastructure. So from that perspective, physical inventory of network is essential for the quality of deployment, but also time and cost optimization of your network. It is important at the deployment phase. It is equally essential to maintain and upgrade the network. As many industry managing a large quantity of data, the FTTH industry has seen a shift from paper to more digital tools. And now artificial intelligence and machine learning, as we will see in this presentation, are changing the paradigm and offering extraordinary opportunity. So I'm very pleased to introduce you to Jean-François Allard. He's Director EMEA Utilities and Communication at Hexagon. Jean-François will present the benefits of geospatial physical network inventory, and then explain how the latest technology are transforming the management of telecom physical inventory. So with that, Jean-François, the floor is yours, and I wish you a very good session to all of you.
Thank you, Vincent, and welcome everybody. So as Vincent explained, the goal of today is going through first going the benefits of a geospatial PNI, and I will explain and I will show through pictures and explanation what it can do, why we can call it a digital twin, why it's a single source of truth, what we can do without any paper, so what are the paperless workflow that exist today. But the second part of the session will be really what we can do beyond the classic view. Imagine that you have already a rich set of data about your network, but what can you do today with machine learning, artificial intelligence, 3D data, augmented reality, and also what you can do and what and how you can enhance your IT infrastructure to support those new models of data management. So let's go first for the benefits of a geospatial PNI. So what is a PNI? The main goal of a PNI is really to take the physical data that you have in the ground and to put it into a digital system in a database. So it's easy to understand. But the PNI itself, it's not only a tool, the PNI must support your business workflows. And the business workflows that you have when you build a network, when you maintain a network, normally you have 4 classic steps. The first step is before going to the field, you have to prepare the work. So you have to define what you want to do, where you want to do it. You have also to understand what is already existing, what's underground, everything. So you prepare the work. It's very often it's about preparing documentation for your partner, your subcontractors that will go to the field. And this information ideally should be also already stored in your PNI system, so to have it paperless. And then you send people to the field, and those people will do the survey. They have tablet phones, mobile applications. They can, with a GPS system, they can measure, they can identify the location of the new asset, eventually also identify the living units, so take pictures of the buildings, identify the number of windows, whatever. And this information is very important to go to the next step, which is the detailed design. This is where you will design your network, you will identify what to build, but really in detail, what kind of rack, what kind of manhole, the physical length of the duct, and so on. And finally, you have to build it. And so you send people to the field that will use the detailed design that you made within your PNI, and they will build and of course afterwards maintain or even modify the existing network. And so this is what normally a geospatial PNI today can support, or we can help you to do within your daily business.
So thanks, Jean-François. You've launched the first poll for today, which I hope everyone can see. So I would definitely encourage you to answer to the following question. How many of the following business workflows are you implemented in your company? And you can select several of them. So the first one is digitally prepare the field activities, mobile field survey, detailed design of the network, or mobile field maintenance and construction follow-up. So I can see that you're already very busy voting. Things are defining gradually, but I don't have a very clear hierarchy yet. So I will keep on. I give you another maybe a 10, 20 seconds to vote. Half of participants have already voted, so I would definitely encourage you to use the device to cast your vote. I think we start to see some trends. So in the interest of time, I will close the survey and bring that online. So as you see, Jean-François, digitally prepare the field activities gets 57%, mobile field survey 46%, detailed design of the network 73%, so clear winner. And at 43, we have the last proposal, mobile field maintenance and construction follow-up. So I don't know if you have any comment on that.
Oh, that's very interesting. I'm not surprised. I was expecting a bit more on the preparation of the field activities, because so far as I know, this is very often there are departments that are full digital, but apparently the detailed design as the priority. So yeah, those numbers are classic and not surprising. So yeah, very good.
Okay, so we can transition to the next part of your presentation. Thank you very much for voting.
So it's interesting, and so let's go now to the more details about the PNI and what it has and what it has to be. For first, as I said, in the mind of all the people, the PNI must be the single source of truth. This is where you have all your asset inventory. And if we look to the details of what it is today, it's location based. Yes, so you have you know where it is. But what is very interesting today is that it's mainly 2D. And we can talk about that, but 2D, there are many reasons of that, very often historical reason, but also because designing in 2D, collecting data in 2D is fast, it's easy, and maintenance is easy as well. What we see also in the PNI, more and more often, the PNIs are able to support multiple technologies. So you have in a single system, you will find fiber, coax, and even copper assets. The PNI is a single source of truth, but not only in the streets, underground or IL network, but also inside the buildings. It will identify where you have your racks, or even what you have inside your racks, which device, which cards, which patch panels, and even going to the ports where you connect the fibers. You will have all the device, but also combining infrastructure and active or passive device. So you will start from the trench through the ducts up to the manhole, the racks, and so on. So you will have everything inside your PNI. And the PNI will be used for the detailed design, as I said before, but also more and more, it's about simulation, what we call long-term transaction. You will be able to build multiple construction scenarios, compare the cost of the scenarios, to simulate incidents. And of course, more and more often, it's about historization. So keeping track of the change within the system, being able to go back in time, what was the situation 6 months ago, or even based on the past change, what will be the utilization of my network in the next 6 months. So this is also one of the trends and one of the usage of a modern PNI. The second usage, it's obvious, but it's interesting to tell it, is that the PNI is the source of all the documentation you generate for each recorder. It's about butterfly diagram, single line diagram, splicing diagram, bill of material, OTDR reports, and all kinds of reports that you can extract from this single source of truth and that you can publish towards your partner or the different departments in the company. A natural extension of the PNI, which is the physical network inventory, is to be the link, to create a link to the logical inventory. And to do that, the physical inventory must expand a bit to not only to the assets, but also on what kind of service you put on the asset. And that's why you will have in the PNI information about fiber links, fiber channels, also services, and sometimes even the circuits that are assigned to the services. And more information about the capacity and of the network, and also allocation, which services are allocated where. So this is the kind of information that you can find also in your PNI. Of course, you have two main business workflows that are mainly mobile: the survey, the construction, and for that you need tools. And an extension to the PNI will be, a natural extension will be an online tool, a web solution that will be able to, on which you are able to connect to review and even update information of the asset. You can search, perform search analysis. You can review any fiber asset. You can go inside the building. You can go underground, review aerial information. It must be configurable, and much more important, it has to work on any device. So your partner, they have tablets, they have phones. You can be even at the office using a classic Windows terminal. So it has to work on any kind of device. That's why we say it's a responsive web design. The last capability dedicated to the usage of the asset information is offline. When you go to the field where you will do the survey or even make some analysis on OTDR tests in the field fully disconnected, it's meaningful. So this is something you could use. And so very often you will see a mobile application that can be connected to GNSS device, so I mean GPS antennas and so on, so that you can locate yourself, you can locate new assets, you can access all the data offline, inside, outside plants, splicing, ports, connection, racks and device. You can also take pictures, videos that you can link to your assets, and eventually also conduct OTDR and fiber path analysis. So this is, with all those tools, connecting to a single source of truth, to your digital twin, you can manage all the business workflows. There is a last kind of tools that you can also use on top of the PNI, on the PNI database, are the analytics. And they are not really technical. The goal of those tools are more about, it's more about dashboarding. It's helping the management to take fast decision in an intuitive way. So by thematic maps, real-time information about the work, the incidents, the capacity of the network, guiding the management towards the decisions, where to expand, where to maintain, where to take actions in the field, where to invest, definitely. What is very interesting in with those kinds of dashboard is that they can combine multiple dimensions, but not only the alphanumeric and graphical information, but also the time, so that you can see information from the past and also eventually identify what could or would happen in the future. So this is a big benefit of the dashboard. And here you have two examples. For example, cable saturation in specific zones, easy to read, easy to identify where things could happen, and of course, in combination with the incident management, reviewing the zones where you have very often or regularly incidents, helping you to identify where maintenance work should or should happen or are necessary at mid or short term. So if we look to the benefit of a PNI, I would say a geospatial PNI in a classic way. One of the benefits we see, and this is recognized even by our customers, but I think by the market, is that it will improve the design process, because you have on a single platform, you don't have only the design, but you have seen, you can estimate the work, you can monitor the work, you can open and close your work order. You can eliminate all paper copies. It's a single source of truth. Everything is there, digital. You can standardize the design process, and even more, as you can divide the design process and give it to specific departments inside the company. So you can distribute the workloads in a very efficient way. The other big benefit is the field activity process that could be highly improved, because first, the backlog time will be reduced, could be even eliminated. So the backlog time is the time between data capture in the field and having this information in your inventory could be removed. In the past, everything on paper, so somebody in the field takes paper copies or is writing on paper. This paper has to go back to the office where somebody is recopying, so the risk of mistakes or wrong recopy is high, so the data quality is directly impacted. So if you can remove the step of recopy, you directly, automatically improve the data quality. And beside this, there is also a possibility to hire or to improve the customer satisfaction. So it's about reducing or shortening the response time you have towards your customer. So you can anticipate OTDR, for example. You can directly identify where you have to send the people, so you can be faster in reducing your response time, in repairing, or you can be proactive or less than reactive. So this means that the retention level of a customer could only be higher. So this is the high benefit of a good PNI implemented in many departments inside the company. So it's no time to go for the second part.
Well, thank you very much. So I hope you all see this second poll. You're now familiar with the process. You just vote on the control panel. So the question is your organization, in your organization, how many departments, either marketing, field services, etc., benefit from the data managed by your P&I solution? So first answer is 0 to 3 department. From 4 to 8, or even more than 8, which I guess would be nearly the entire organization. I can see voting taking place. There are more differences between the different between the answers than for the last question. And maybe I want to take this opportunity to remind you that besides voting, you can also, of course, also ask questions to Jean-François using the question box in the control panel. We will be very happy to address them at the end of the session. I think we get some clarity, so I will not wait any longer, and I suggest we close the poll and share the results. It shows, Jean-François, that the majority has up to 3 departments involved in data managed by P&I solution, and 28% small, a big quarter, have between 4 and 8. Only a tiny portion of 9% declare that more than 8 departments are actually concerned by the P&I solutions. Does it reflect what you see with your clients?
Yeah, but I was hoping to have a bit more than between 4 and 8, honestly. So it shows that, and this is what we see today, and this is still a big focus for the telco companies. So the focus is still on the construction of the network. So this is the major need. We need to deploy the network, and that's why only few departments inside the company are concerned by the P&I, because the focus is construction. But I'm pretty sure that having the single source of truth that is a P&I can be used by all departments. We mentioned marketing, for example. The sales department could be also supported by this. But I'm sure the trend will evolve over time. But it's interesting that 2 times more are still between 0 and 3 than 4 and 8. So interesting.
Yeah. And maybe that your presentation will dramatically change the thing in this in the organization of our attendees. So let's without waiting move to the next part of your presentation, and don't forget to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is a good transition to the second part of this webinar. So now what I want to do is to show you what you can do to go beyond the classic view. And the classic view of the P&I, and the trend is clear, is that the classic view is that this is a tool to support the construction and maybe some maintenance of my network. But you can do much more. And I really believe that you can do much more thanks to the latest technology that we have on the market today. So I think that even the new technology can help you to enrich the data, to capture information faster in the field, and even achieve what we call a true digital twin. Because currently, P&I data, we can call them digital twin, in the sense that it's a real copy of the asset that you have in the field. But we have to admit it's still in 2 dimension. You cannot bring this information to the field and put this in a 3D model. It won't work. You don't have all the complete view of what's happening in the field. It's still a digital model. So I think we can go further. And of course, one of the impact of using the new technologies, it's about integrating much more data than you have today. So is it feasible? How can you grow the size of your IT infrastructure or grow your power and CPU to support those requirements? So, and we will go through those points during the session now. What I would like to first introduce is artificial intelligence and machine learning. So it's still the beginning, but those tools can already improve a lot the way we capture information from the field. So currently, the focus in artificial intelligence and machine learning in the telco world is based on the picture recognition and understanding what we see and understanding what we see and what is the quality of what we see on the picture. So we have already automation that leading to identify the type of assets, the quality of the asset. So do I have water in a manhole? Do I have is a slack loop normally bundled, or do we have a crisscross inside the manhole? And so what we do already, taking a lot of pictures and in batch, letting a machine identifying what is on the picture, and we have already a good result. So you can automate recognition and automatic recognition up to more than 80%, depending on the quality of the picture. But you can do a lot. The next step, and we are already working on it, not only us, but it's about splicing content of a rack. You take a picture of your rack, and automatically the system will help you to convert the content of the picture into a digital version of this. So it can fasten the way you are taking information from the field and make sure that the information you have in your PNI is accurate. It's not no recopy, it's really from machine to machine directly. So the benefits of AI and machine learning are really today based on automation of photo recognition, asset type, problem detection, color, everything. And the goal is really to have a better match between the physical and digital models automatically. Okay, direct gain in quality and very fast. You can treat also a large volume of information very fast. The second aspect and of that is the moving to 3D. And I know 3D is something that is all of you, they like to see a 3D picture, and they believe that what they see, for example, here on this screen, takes a lot of time. It's very hard to get into my model. My model is only 2D. So what you see here on the video is a GSM tower that has been fully captured by LiDAR system. So at the beginning, it was a point cloud. And in a semi-automatic way, it has been converted to vector information to objects, and each object has been identified, and then after that, attributes have been assigned to each of the device. But what you see is that now you have a 3D model that you can click on it, you have objects, you can start working on it. Oh, that's nice, but it's still a vector object. Now let's go for the next version of that. Is that you take a LiDAR point cloud, plus you take pictures on that, and you do the same process. And so bottom line, you see the same kind of antenna. In this case, you have high definition colors, and you can even eventually also identify the issues you have, corrosion of the steel, you have some defects on some device. You can measure distance. You can do a lot of stuff already in 3D. So you see today, and this information has been captured directly from the field and directly injected into the model. The limitation of this is that it's isolated. You see, you have one antenna, you have another one, no idea about what you can do with your existing data. And so that's why now we can use more and more the LiDAR data, raw data, so just coming from a drone. So this is, in this case, you see a rail track that has been fully collected by a drone. And what we are doing now in this video is fusing multiple sources of point cloud, but also fusing vector information. So it's a point cloud, you can make measurements, but you can, in the same data, you can integrate vector information. You see in green, you see poles coming from the GIS. So on the GIS, you have the poles, and you have the LiDAR data, not intelligence, coming embedding the GIS information. What you can do is even bringing another source of point clouds. So it's a bridge that has been built later on. So you have two LiDAR sources, you have the GIS source, and on the GIS source, you can, of course, get attributes. And finally, what is the ultimate goal is to take from all those sources of information all what you need to get a full digital twin that is fully vectorized and with only assets. Well, in this case, it's about railways, but it can be anything. Still basic, but what is very interesting is that all the data that we see here have been fully automatically converted from a point cloud to assets. So the way you collect a very large volume of 3D data coming from point cloud into assets today, it's the cost is very low. It's just machine time, and you have directly a real digital twin of your model. What is also interesting to do once you are working in 3D is to to provide to your PNI Z information, because this is always what I hear from my customers. Yes, we would like to go to 3D, but we spend years in collecting data in the field, but everything is in 2D. Know that we see we can collect accurately and easily and at low cost 3D data from the field. Like here, you see you have a nice location. You have the buildings in 3D associated to pictures that have been mapped on the point cloud. What I can do, I can, for example, and you see through what we call the X-ray view. What you see here on the picture, it's a combination of 3 sources of data, GIS data. So there is gas, telecom, and water pipes that we see by transparency. None of them had a Z value at the origin. So what we just did, we just assigned a default Z value to all of them, just to have them on the ground, automatically combined with a 3D view. And what you can do is even dig. So we will dig a hole on this place just to see the assets that we have on this location. Normally, it should happen now. Yes, and you see, so we have a hole now, and we can see in 3D all the assets. Well, they are not differentiated by the color, but it could be done. But what is interesting is that your 3D information, you can click on an asset and you get information on this asset. What is very strong here is that we are combining different sources of data, not coming from the same company. So it's a gas, water, and telecom. Different companies. We're just combining the data on location and just giving a default Z value to all this information. So this is the way you can combine existing 2D information, give it a default Z value, and put this information in the real environment, giving you the ability to see directly what's the impact of works on this location, what is the impact of existing other networks. So, and again, this is something you can do today, and this is it's a change of mindset. So this is not a dream. This is something that can be done today at very low cost and increasing your efficiency in the field by a factor that I cannot count, because the increase is very, very high. So the 3D, the use of 3D data, if I have to conclude, first, it will, you have not to be afraid, the data acquisition is very easy. So we have more and more LiDAR sensors. Today, we can fly drones, so you can take pictures from cars in 3D. You get point clouds, you get textures, and it's easy to convert the point cloud into vector information. Just using the 3D data, even raw data without no transformation, helps you to make directly measures. So you can measurements between objects and also make sanity checks. So you have telecom towers, you want to see their current state. You can see directly without converting them to specific assets. Just check, it's easy to do. And finally, more and more easy to integrate 2D and 3D data together on the same platform, on a screen, navigate. You can impose a specific Z, and you can even do simulation directly in 3D. So this is a real benefit, and this is a real move. If we look to what we were able to do 5 years ago and what we can do today, I think this is a complete change. So really a great trend for the 3D. The last 3D aspect and data management that I would like to highlight now is the usage of augmented reality. And for me, it's really something that you can get an easy benefit from. So augmented reality, it's about putting your data, so your physical asset data digitally in a view that shows the real view. So this is we are on a tablet. You see a street taken through the camera of the tablet, and on top of that, you just add vector information coming from the PNI. Or in this case, it's a water network, but it could be any kind of network. The data can be on the device or online, but the big advantage is that you see the data directly superimposed with the street. And again, the new technologies allow to on the fly compute the default data so that you see it on the ground. But much more now, the trends on augmented reality are that you can make some analysis. Imagine that you make an OTDR trace, that you identify the location of the incident, that you see the OTDR marker on your screen in augmented reality. Imagine as well that you have to identify all the assets using a specific service. So you have the service name, you identify the service, and on your screen through augmented reality, you see the line in red or in green, and you can directly see all the assets that are impacted by specific services. Imagine as well that you can do thematic maps about in augmented reality, real time, you see the utilization, the spare or the spare capacity, you see the reservations, you see the recent repair, the parts repair. So you are underground, you see poop, 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 points showing you where the network has been repaired in the past months or past years, and also all the past incidents. This is what augmented reality will bring. You don't have to dig. In life, you can make in 3D without having to collect any LiDAR information. You can do much more than ever. So the efforts you have to do it's just to invest in a specific tool, but no need to dig, no need to transform the data. Directly you go to the field with this capacity. So this is clearly a major trend that you can achieve with the new technologies. But of course, so nice pictures, nice videos, but the counterpart of that is that it means that you need computation capabilities, you need this space, because just I'm sure most of you know it. One LiDAR flight, it's not about gigabytes of data, but we will rapidly talk about terabytes of data. Manipulate all the data in a fast way will require more CPU. So if you want to move towards this, of course, this means directly that the IT infrastructure that is behind must be enhanced. And one of the solutions to do that is that, okay, I can shift my infrastructure that is already on-prem and move all this power into the cloud. So no secret, moving to the cloud, it's a trend. We see if we look at the FlexArray report of last year, you see the numbers. So already 37% of the businesses spent is bigger than $12 million per year for 30% of the business. And 80% of the businesses are spending at least more than $1 million per year for each company. So this is a trend. And the main reason for that, first, is the cost. Why? If you had to buy all the machines, to invest in all the CPUs, to do just point cloud treatment and so on, of course, you will be advised. Somebody will tell you this is X terabyte of hard drive, X CPUs, and what you will do, you will buy them plus a safety buffer, because you need to have security for the next 5 years. If you have the question for the cloud, it's completely different, because then you will ask what is the average need, and if I have peaks, then I will pay at that time for the specific peak. So you will invest in a completely different way. So it's the cost is mainly driven by pay-per-use, better utilization, and flexibility versus a 5 years capacity plan. The other aspect is also more technical, is the way you can scale up easily once you are in the cloud, because you have new technologies like microservices, containerization, blah, blah, blah. A lot of technologies allowing you to increase the performance of the treatments you want to apply, just by copy pasting your applications and making them running in parallel to have faster results. So also on operational aspects, you can, on your side, you can more focus on innovation and less on the management and maintenance of your hardware. For you as a company, as you have less effort to spend on IT infrastructure, you can be faster on the market, so you have a faster time to market. And also, and last but not least, what is very interesting is that cloud computing is greener. So, and this is a fact. And we are all looking for being to consume or to produce less CO2, and going to the cloud will directly go. We go in the direction automatically. So there are a lot of benefits to go to the cloud. But now, if you want to go to the cloud, so this is a really you have to think about that. Moving to the cloud is not, very often you will ask, okay, what is the best cloud company, the cloud vendor on which I can rely to put all my systems? And a trend that we see today is that is what we call the multi-cloud. So instead of having one platform for all your systems, you can have multiple platforms, hosting each of them specific key application with a very fast interconnections. So all the vendors now provide this kind of interconnection, and this bring you some benefit. First, it brings you the ability to negotiate the price and to have the best price and performance in function of the key capabilities you need. For a specific application, you can go for the vendor one, for another to vendor two. So, and it's a good choice. Secondly, spreading your application on multiple vendors will prevent you from global outages. If you have everything on a single vendor, the risk to have a big outage, and it happened, so the risk zero does not exist. So having your application on multiple vendors will prevent you from big outages. There is also one point, and this is very specific to Europe, with the GDPR rules. Sometimes it's interesting to have multi-cloud so that you can store for example, the data with some privacy sensitivity in specific location with specific vendors offering more regulation, more protection on that, and other application with less criticality on other platforms. And finally, for the global companies, having multi-clouds also open doors more easily to a pan-regional availability. So there is no solution, but what I just wanted to show you today is that new technologies are there. You can go to AI, machine learning, 3D, augmented reality. Of course, all of this has to be sustained by also a reflection in your IT architecture. So I think now it's time to go for the third part.
Thank you. And you can read the question. Please check mark the sectors where you have investments planned in the next 3 years. So we have 4 options. 1 is artificial intelligence and machine learning. 2 concerns 3D data integration. 3rd is augmented reality. Typo here. And the last one is move to a cloud/multi-cloud platform. 1, 2, 3, 4. The audience is busy voting. And would you be able to guess who's going to be the winner, Jean-François?
Yeah, I think cloud is the number 1, and then number 2, I think it would be AR or machine learning.
Okay, well, let's see if you're prescient. And maybe having heard you, the audience will prove you wrong purposely. I don't know whether you're going to influence. Maybe our audience likes to play a little bit with that, but I can see that 50% of the attendees have voted, and that the situation is stabilizing. So without further ado, I will close the poll and share the result with you. I think you were not too far away, but not exactly there. Artificial intelligence and machine learning, 42%, but the first one is move to the cloud and multi-cloud platform. And then at the secondary level, we have 3D data integration and augmented reality.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So it's in line with the previous poll, and it shows really the situation of the market currently. So the focus is really the construction of the network, and machine learning and artificial intelligence today can help to fasten, because the market must grow rapidly, must deliver and deploy rapidly. So it's a key. And the cloud, multi-cloud, it's a global trend, not only in telecom. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's move to your last slides.
It's about question and answer.
It's about question and answer. So I guess it's my time also to manage that. We have received a few questions. So let me start with this one from Nazim. I read it. How do your customer benefit from the AI image recognition module? Do you have figures that would help to understand the benefit they get from using this module of your software?
Yeah, I don't have figures, but I have a specific experience on that. So the AI is not really used in Europe, but I know in Portugal it has been used once. So it's mainly used in other countries, Asia Pac or in Africa, where they built the network without any digital information store, and know that they're investing in a physical network inventory. They need to make digitalization, and the only way to go fast and at very low cost is to use AI and machine learning. And the pictures you have seen were taken in India, just to give you an example. So what they do, they send people in the field taking pictures. The pictures are located, so you have a GPS coordinates associated to each picture, and thanks to the picture, we can design and generate the information directly in the physical network inventory. So it's unbeatable in terms of cost and speed. You can imagine in a country like India, it's so huge. If you have to send teams that will, even with a field survey tool with GPS, and will just mark, say it's a manhole this type, and then go to the next box and identify. No, we do it directly. So in Portugal, I know that we did the exercise. The time estimated to make the manual recovery was 3 months. It has been reduced to 1 month. So it was three times faster with the same number of people, but 3 times faster. It's already give you a good estimation.
Okay. And I've got another question from Guilherme. How important is the functionality of accessing high definition street level imagery and LiDAR, I hope I pronounce it correctly, when planning and building the design?
Very good question. I don't want to promote too much Hexagon, but what we see, so we have a program called HXDR, for example. We can fly ourselves and generate ourselves 3D and 2D data, and this is also a trend. So you have more and more, because having the digital information, I mean LiDAR data everywhere. It's true in Europe. In Europe, many countries are investing a lot of money. In Belgium, we have a very good coverage for 3D information in LiDAR with a very high accuracy. In France, it's coming as well. So in many countries, we see that. But in a lot of countries, unfortunately, it does not exist. If you go in Africa, everywhere, even on the north, so I mean Tunisia, Egypt, and so on, very few information. So what we do, we fly, or we find partners who are flying. And flying is less expensive than before, because today you can fly with drones, with a good LiDAR sensor. And so you collect the data yourself, and on the location that are interesting you, because a normal flight will be on all the regions, but you can fly only where you know you have to build. And so this is a way you get accurate and low cost, between brackets, 3D data for yourself and for your specific needs.
Okay. Now I can see questions coming fast. So you could have a short answer because they are now piling on the list. Calvin is asking me, are GIS platform in general able to display 3D data and the network asset records simultaneously at this time, or is it part of future capabilities?
No, it exists. So we have it, or other companies are doing it. So yeah, I would say it's starting, but we have the solution. So we can do it for more than 3 years, and others can do it also. I think since 3 years, it's growing fast, and combining 2D and 3D data in a single solution is something that is not yet common, but will become common in the next year. But it exists already.
Okay, excellent. How can you generate OTDR report with the application? And another question, does it have a library of products to place while doing the design?
Yeah, so OTDR, so I would say it's once you have a PNI, so normally, this is at least what we do, you have all the connectivity, all the lengths, inside, outside, on facade, and so on. And once you have all the lengths and you know which service is associated to a specific line, you start from a port. The OTDR device will tell you that there is an incident at, for example, 233 meters, and which to say to the PNI system offline or at the office, for example, or in the web, starting from here, show me a marker at 250 meters starting from this port. You can even do more. What is also possible if you have all the information in your PNI, and for example, the losses at every splicing, you can also identify, place a marker where the loss, the cumulative loss is above 0.1 millivolt dB, for example. This is what we can do, and this is feasible today. We have many customers using it.
I have a follow-up question. Sorry, so the follow-up question is, does it have a library of product to place while doing the design?
Yes.
Related to the first one, yeah.
Yes, exactly, yeah. So
okay.
You have libraries, and yeah, they are. Many.
Okay, and a follow-up of the follow-up, the same person asking 3 questions in a row. Does it generate underground networks design like duct bank system or handhold and?
Yeah, of course. So as I said at the beginning, you have to manage in your PNI not only the active assets, I mean cable, fiber. No, you need to manage the trends, the duct, the inner ducts, the branch enclosures, all the device, the hardware that sustains the construction and the function of the network. Yes, yeah. You need to have everything, and even more. It's always interesting also to have the surrounding objects, the buildings, but also sometimes what you have in the streets. So always interesting to have them as well in your PNI.
And maybe I have a question on my side. You touched upon it at several points during your presentation and reacting to the polls, but what is your view on the general state of maturity of the European market when it comes to telecom physical inventory practices and technologies?
I think what we call the tier one, so the big telco providers, they have invested for a while. I think since 2010, 2015, something like that. They have invested a lot in those solutions. So there is maturity, but they are big and they have to deploy large networks, and they are still very hardly building the networks. This is the main focus. What we see on the medium side, in the small side, or even the newcomers on the market, because 5G, you know, is also a combination of fiber and wireless communication. So we have new players, and those companies they start very small. And when I say they start very small, they are still using a lot of paper or multiple solutions. Instead of one PNI, they will use a Visio for the splicing. They will use Excel for the service name. They will use a GIS to show everything. And as long as they are small, it's okay. One guy can manage everything. But if you grow, then you rapidly you are facing issues. And then those companies have to migrate all what they have into a PNI. And sometimes, I would say even very often, it's a double work because the technical choice they took at the beginning are so low cost and so complex to migrate that they have to redo, and and retype all the information. So it depends on the sizing. But now, as I said, focus is clearly to build. So all the polls are going in this direction. So it's really focused on going fast and designing. So you see.
And so do you think the maturity will, as Europe, and especially when it comes to fiber network, you know, we pass 50% of coverage. So some country are moving fast towards 70, 80% of coverage. So we go beyond the phase of intensive rollout. Do you think that it would lead operator towards considering these technology with more intensity? And what could be the, you know, what could be slowing down operator from adopting these new technologies, these disruptive technologies?
I think what you say is exact. So now that we passed the 50% deployment in many countries in Europe, it's now they are starting thinking about going in different direction. What we see also is the cost of getting 3D information decreased drastically in the past 5 years, and it was really a limitation. So I think many companies were already asking about 3D capabilities 5 years ago, or investigating, and technology-wise it was complex, data-wise it was very expensive collecting data, and also you know, in the telecom business, it's good to have a PNI, but what is costly is that you have to maintain it, because once you build your network, the next step is to maintain it, and maintaining means extensions, change, and so on. So this means that the PNI is not a goal as such. You have to maintain the data, and when it's only 2D, it's easy to maintain. Replacing or adding a new duct in a trench, putting a new manhole, and so on in 2D. I would say fingers in the nose. It's not complex. Once you are managing 3D data, managing the network, it's much more complex, costly. And 5 years ago there was no solution for that. Even updating point clouds on specific zones, it was not there. Today we see solutions for that coming. So I think the technology-wise, the solution exists. Price-wise, the price really decreased. No, the break will maybe be the mindset. So you know, it's working very nicely or very fine today. Why do I need to change? It's all about change management. Yeah. But
and if you were to select one of these new technology that you would recommend operators start with, if they were to go step by step, you know, transitioning from the very basic solution you described to a solution which really helped them grow in an effective way, what would you advise them to do and to start with?
Yeah, only one. So I think that the poll has identified moving to the cloud. So it's more IT choice, and I think cybersecurity and so on are really good reasons to move to. Also cost. The second one, honestly, I think augmented reality they have to look on that, because it's a very low value investment, because it's just using the existing data. But what you can do in the fields with this technology, it's amazing. You have really access to your data in the real world. So it's really like you see. Can you imagine? You design a line at the office, and you go to the field, and you see the pipe underground, and like it's there. You don't have to dig, and you see directly the information. And you can see, as I said, OTDR marker. You can make thematic maps. So I would go for augmented reality, because it's a very low cost investment with a very high return. Very rapid, so it's easy to use. So this is the way you really benefit from your PNI data at a very low cost.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Jean-François, I think we're getting to the top of the hour, which concludes this, I think, very insightful presentation. I would like to thank the audience for their participation, for their question. I would like also to invite you to keep on attending our webinar series, and hopefully join us also in Madrid on the 18th of April to meet the entire community at the FTTH conference. Maybe you will have the chance to meet Jean-François Allard and his and maybe his digital twin as well will be there.
Very good.
Thanks again very much for attending this webinar. If you want to follow up with a question, just send it directly to the FTTH Council Europe. We will forward that to Jean-François, and I wish you a very good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.